Has this ever happened to you? Do you sometimes forget your own strength? Well, don't worry, because this is an easy fix. In all seriousness, I broke this last winter when trying to remove the hose from the bib when the copper just snapped because I torqued it too much. Because I decided to make it future me's problem, I filled the hole with some of this duct sealant I'll be using later on. Handy stuff, as it stays malleable for a pretty long time. Here's everything you'll need for this quick repair job that's very DIY friendly. A Sharkbite hose bib of your preferred handle style and the right size for your pipe. Mine is 1/2 inch and I like these quarter turn valves. A coupling, again, the size of your existing supply line. If you're working with copper, you'll need sandpaper to clean it up. We won't be needing any soldering wire. We will need a way to cut the copper. When working with Sharkbite, these removal tools are also very handy. I recommend picking them up. You should be able to 3D print them even. Optional, but highly recommended, is this combo deburring and depth tool. And of course, some pipe of your choice. What we're doing is very simple. Spigot to PEX to coupling to existing supply line. That's it. Let's do it. Oh, one more tool. Another pipe cutter, this time for plastics, if you're using them. I first want to show you how to remove Sharkbite fittings when something goes wrong. It can be tricky with these tiny removal tools especially, but once you slide the release collar back, you should be able to pull the pipe out. Now, let's proceed with a fresh cut. The deburring tool adds a chamfer to the pipe that's less likely to damage the O-ring inside the Sharkbite fittings. That's what gives it the watertight seal. This tool doubles as a depth gauge that tells you how far the pipe needs to be inserted to know it's correctly installed. For the newer Max fittings, it's the shallower depth. Straight, even pressure will let you install the fitting right up to the line that you marked. My spigot is right below this kitchen window, so the supply is accessible under the sink, which even with all the stuff cleared out, is a very tight spot to work in. A professional plumber will have no issue soldering in this tight environment, but as I do not fit that description, I'm taking the DIY friendly approach. And I'm thinking about cutting right after the elbow. I'm just going to split the difference here. And apologies for the poor video quality in some of these shots. I tried adjusting the lighting later, but you should be able to see enough to get the point. Shallow passes with this pipe cutter will eventually slice through the copper, and you can see the daylight shining through. Here you can also see the snapped edge. Oh well, out with the old and in with the new. I couldn't find any 1/2 inch PEX in blue in my leftovers, so I'm going to be using the red that I have. Please don't at me in the comments. It's my house, and I don't really care. Although I wouldn't do this at someone else's place. I'm deciding to take a field measurement rather than using a tape to pre-cut the pipe. As I mentioned, you should clean the copper because a dirty pipe is more likely to fail to seal correctly. And the copper is more important to remove the sharp edge from. Excellent camera work, my guy. Okay, the bib is flush on the wall, so I can take that field measurement now. I have a little play in the pipes, so I'm not worried about being 100% exact. The pipe inserts to just about halfway into the coupling. And it's one more round of cut, mark, and insert. Oh, here's that duct seal I mentioned earlier. I'm using this place of any caulking or silicone sealant in case I want to remove this later. It's going to be much easier to take it off. Since I lack the leverage to pull this pipe in sufficiently, I'm grabbing some channel locks to help me out and pull it in position. Before I secure it to the wall, I want to test it for leaks. I'll start by slowly opening the valve to prime the pipe, and there's no leaking at full pressure, so we can now see how it does with rushing water. I did check after this, and we're good to finish the job now. Completely dry, no leaks. Since I'm installing this into a brick wall, I need to use some Tapcon screws and pre-drill first. Oops. Thought I burst a pipe there. It's just the valve. I'm just gonna go inside and check. Oh my god. It's good practice just to shut off any local supply valves whenever you're working on anything. So let's flush the rest of this out. See, there we go. Okay, the main thing here is that you don't want any play in the spigot, as that can result in the fittings loosening over time, which will cause a leak in your wall. All right, you're all set. It's that easy. The complexity really comes in where your supply line is located and how accessible it might be. I plan on also eventually replacing the hose bib on the front of my house as well, since both multi-turn handle valves on the bib and the local shutoff both don't shut off completely. So I'll be replacing both valves with Sharkbite products because of how easy they are to work with. The first thing, in fact, that I did in my house when I moved in was to replace the home's main water shutoff valve because it too failed to turn all the way closed. It's pretty common with old properties and these multi-turn handles. That's why I really like the quarter turn style. Thanks for watching.